How are you doing? I'm Martin from Gardens for Life. In this video I'm going to discuss the tuber sunflower, also known as sunchoke or Jerusalem artichoke. In our previous video we show how we planted them and what they look like during the growing season, and also what they look like when they're done at the end of the growing season, which is just about now, and we're going to dig up some of them in this video. Good attaboy. Where are you playing? Nice. Take a look at that. Red fuzao is one of our favourites and one of the first to be ready actually, and we're going to dig those up too now. We have 5 varieties that are all very exciting, and people often ask what's the difference in the flavour. There is almost no difference in the flavour, but the difference is in the way they grow, like the shapes and colours and sizes. For those of you who haven't seen the other Jerusalem artichoke video, I'll put a link at the end of this video. Also, if you're looking to grow these in your own gardens, they're available on our website as well. So to cure your Jerusalem artichokes, you simply have to put them somewhere in a bit of light. Ideally daylight, and that breaks down the inulin. For example, here in a greenhouse, that'll do the job just fine. In our gardens, the Jerusalem artichoke is grown as a perennial. That means we planted them in a permanent position and we don't bother them at all other than harvesting. We don't actually replant them, they just come back year after year. Behind me here you can see some of the patches, and we have more detailed videos on planting them. It's very easy, just into no-dig compost. It's also a very easy vegetable to grow, especially for beginners. I'd highly recommend it, but you can't go wrong with it. It just grows by itself. Just make sure you plant it somewhere in a permanent spot, because it'll be there forever. Year after year you can harvest it during the winter, and if you don't harvest it, it'll just grow again next year. What lovely tubers the fuzao are. Take a look at them. They're so smooth. Easy to clean, don't need to peel them. Very nice vegetable. If you'd like to grow them in your own garden but you don't know what variety is best, you can get the Jerusalem artichoke mega mix. There's 5 varieties in it. We have tried other varieties too, but they're not quite as good as these ones. It's a foggy day out here in the garden today. And look at these snaky spiders putting the spider webs all over the fennel flowers, I assume, and now they've turned into seeds. But look at that. If you were a spider, what better way would there be than to catch the insects while they're going pollinating and eating the nectar? We never harvest all of the tubers. The ones that we leave behind actually end up regrowing the patch for us every year. So in this area here, we just put down Jerusalem artichokes and about 15-20 centimeters of compost. And that was about 4 years ago now, and we've been doing nothing but harvesting here. We have not actually had to replant them. These are the Chinese Jerusalem artichoke variety. These are the red fuzao. You can see the stems are still a bit green, so probably not quite ready, but the foliage is almost gone completely. And at that point you know that there is very little growth left in it anymore. These ones here are white fuzao, and you can see the stems are completely done. So these can definitely be dug up now, between now and April pretty much. So it's a good long-term storage for calories, but also they give fierce distress. They're also known as fartichoke. They're actually very healthy for you, but too much of it is not good. You can cure them, and that reduces the amount of inulin in them, so that makes them very edible. It's just a matter of leaving them somewhere in light condition for a week or 2. Even on a windowsill or in the greenhouse will be fine. It clearly doesn't replace the potato as a vegetable, but it is a very good perennial vegetable to have in your garden. It's very low maintenance. Here's also the marsh woundwort right beside that. You can see here, these are the kind of starchy roots, and it's actually a native wildflower, and it's quite beautiful in the garden too. But the roots are edible. They're kind of like mint, but very thick and starchy. So those are also available. on the website if you're interested. Jerusalem artichoke is also a fantastic plant to create wildlife habitat. And you can see here in the stems, once they've gone dry, they're a great material for the insects to overwinter in. So let me just show you here. So they can actually just go into this, into center. There's actually foam and they can overwinter in that. So if you're making insect hotels, this is like a natural form of an insect hotel essentially. And you can just leave the stalks in situ over the winter and the insects will actually populate it, and also it'll insulate the ground a little bit. You're creating great bird habitat during the growing season, but also insect habitat for overwintering them. Once you got the insects on your side, that's half the battle. Like I always say, work on increasing your fertility and your biodiversity, and you'll have almost no maintenance in your system. Just to give you an idea of the scale, look. They're huge. Like 3.5 meters, 12 feet tall. We can use a fork, but we don't have to. At the edge here I will, just to speed things up a little bit. And let's see what we can get. Sometimes we poke through the odd one, but it's okay. In no-dig beds we usually don't bother with tools. Take a look at that. Awesome. And what do you think, Levi? That's a good boy. Attaboy. All right. Each of these tubers actually turns into a plant, which will grow into a stalk. Somewhere around 2 to 3 meters tall, typically, in 1 year. And it'll produce a number of these tubers, maybe somewhere between 5 and 20. We usually get about 10 or 15 tubers per plant. But that's in compost and no dig. Let's try a different variety just to see. This is red fusau here. I think we could benefit from lifting them from below, at least at the edge here, because there is some clay underneath. Look at that, aren't they beautiful? Nice. I'm telling you, these are so easy to grow. I've been growing this particular variety, red fusau, for about 10 years now, and I've always been very happy with them. If they grow very big and it's a wet winter, they can crack, but other than that, they're great. What a great variety it is, and it's so beautiful. Just a quick update on the winter pre-orders. We are shipping them in the next 2 or 3 weeks. We're working hard to actually harvest all of the tuberous vegetables now, especially with the slow winter coming in. If you placed a pre-order for the winter selection, thank you. We really appreciate your support, and we will be shipping your order this month. So we'll send you an email when your order is being processed. And if you haven't placed a pre-order yet, or if you haven't looked at the winter selection, please feel free to do so. It's just over on our website. Lots of different varieties, probably about 100 different types of plants. One amazing byproduct of the Jerusalem artichoke, this tuberous sunflower, is actually the stalks, and for the winter they're ideal for the insects to overwinter and hibernate in, and they protect them from the cold temperatures. You can see you can get lots of stalks, and you can also pile them up, so you get something called an insect pile, and you can see how the insects would want to live in them because they're already insulated. Don't forget, if you can feed the insects during the growing season, that's half the battle. But if you can also overwinter them, you've gone full circle, and then your insects are already there next year, and the flywheel of life and biodiversity is active in your garden. Let's see what we can pull up. I already loosened these with a fork, just a little bit. Jesus, look at the size of that one. Hey, hey. How are you doing, Levi? You alright? Alright. Good boy. So this is the white truffle patch, and so far I've dug up a crate full. They're a nice crop. You can see they're a little bit different from the rest of them. They do clump a little bit closer as well. But all in all, I'm very happy with the harvest, and it was very easy to harvest them too. This is the area I harvested. Here's a few more. And I'm going to take up these. And I'll just show you. So just carefully dig very far away from the plant and just loosen it up from the underneath. Sort of want to get it clustered up. And that's the way they grow. Oh, let's see if we can get this cluster here too. See, that's what happens if you don't fork them. A lot of them can get stuck. Oh. Sort of like potatoes. I mean, probably the closest variety that looks like potatoes. But they certainly have a different texture. I don't want to make the video too long, but I'll do one more quick one here. Just to see, it looks promising anyway. It's the biggest one yet. So I'm in the greenhouse here now. To cure your Jerusalem artichokes for storage, you simply put them somewhere in a dry place with a bit of light. And just in the greenhouse will do. And look at that. It literally took half a day to harvest all them. It was quite quick. And so many colours. Here's also a bit of marsh woundwort. Look at the size of the roots, the rhizomes. It is in the mint family, so it spreads, but it's a European wildflower. And it's a really nice plant to have. It's great for the insects as well, and you can eat these tubers as well. They're starchy. Jerusalem artichokes might look similar to potato, but it is very different. It's a different flavour and a completely different texture and a different nutritional profile, but also they are probiotic. But obviously you got to cure them before you eat them so that you can break down some of the inulin so your digestive system doesn't have to. Otherwise you'll find out why they're also known as fartichoke. If you want to grow Jerusalem artichokes in your own garden and you need the starts, you can take a look at our website. They're all available there, along with other tuberous vegetables and cuttings and plants. You can also support us by becoming a member of the Gardens for Life support community. Members get many benefits, and again, thanks for watching. We'll see you the next time. Bye bye. How's our little fox, Nina? Oh, Mr. Jealous is always here. He always comes up. Oh, good dogs. You always want all the cuddles. I know. What about the other one? Excuse me, Levi.